lot of times we have shame about money. We can still do things for others, but remember to do things for us.
Well, thank you for joining me today. So let's begin where it began, I guess. Where did we first encounter each other? I remember from my point of view, I was at a networking I can't remember the name of the town.
Cambridge.
In Ontario.
Yeah, it's the Gulf View restaurant.
That's right.
Right across the street from the Galt Country Club.
Yes. So that was a networking I went to, and you stood up and had something to say. And I remember thinking, that man has an awesome sense of humor. It was something about a dog, I think.
Yeah, I pulled up to a set of lights. It was on Speedvale Avenue West and the Hamlin Expressway, and there were two golden retrievers that had their heads stuck out the window, and I was right beside it, so I started talking to them. And I'm not sure if they were responding back, but they were certainly looking at me and licking their lips, so I wasn't sure if they were hungry and thought I had treats for them, or if they just kind of appreciated the conversation.
They were happy regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love it. And that was my first encounter with you, and I can't recall if it was that day that we spoke or whether it was a second time I went to that networking while I was over there in Canada. I was over there a little bit over a few years, but I think it was in 2019. Was that you and I met?
I believe it was. Yeah, we talked for about 5 minutes maybe after that. You had something else going on that afternoon, but
Yeah.
I know we did talk for a few minutes, and then we did set up a time, and that's when we met up at the Williams.
Yes.
When you got to drive on the correct side of the road.
It was always a challenge while I was over there. A few times I had to correct myself. So let's talk about that day. What was going on for you? You understood that I was a mindset coach. I'm not sure what else you really understood about what I did and what I was up to. Tell me.
I really didn't have much of an idea of what you did. You know, you got up, you talked for a little bit. I think it was the trying to listen and understand what you were saying a couple of times, trying to decide if you were from England or from Australia. Yeah, there really wasn't much that I really knew about what you did, even after you had talked. But you know, there's something there that was interesting.
Yeah. And so when we sat down that day at Williams and had a cup of tea, and I remember we were there for quite a while, and I think I've told you before that you were probably the first person. It was pretty early days in my coaching. I was probably only 3 years in, and you were the first person that I thought, no, this man needs to do some work with me. And it was interesting from my side of the table because I could hear you saying, oh, I don't think I can financially, but it was the weirdest sensation because I thought, I can't leave. Actually, I must help you to see, where you're at and where you could be. That's all I remember from that day, is that real feeling like I wanted to go because I could feel the discomfort for you near the end. And I thought, the me wanted to go, but the real me was like, no, your work's not done. There's something you've got to stay for. So I'd love to hear from your point of view, from your side of the table. What was going on for you that day?
Well, I'm trying to think of the exact timing, but Anne and I had just separated. I'm pretty sure I had already moved out to my own place. So that was one of the big changes that had happened in my life is that we separated. I still remember the one thing that you see. We talked about that for a few minutes, and I said that I'm not sure if maybe there's some infidelity or anything. I said I know nothing on my side, and who knows if there was or not. And you looked at me and said, well, if there was there something much deeper than just the physical aspect of it? I said, we realized that. So it's totally true that there's a lot more going on with people and with ourselves than what we see from the outside.
Yes.
And there are things that we can do and things that we can learn and things that we can practice that can really help to get us on the right track, I guess, so to speak. I don't really want to say the right track, but because we're all on the same track. It's just realizing things that we notice and say, oh, okay, now I get that. Seeing why things happen.
Yes. I do like what you said, getting on the right track. It is like we're all individual and we all have a purpose for being here. And I think most people spend their whole life on and off track, and how good it feels when we feel like we're in the slipstream of the life that's in us and what's looking to be expressed, the very purpose of us. And I guess that is really the essence of what I do with people. What were you doing for a living when we met? I know what you were doing. Tell
I was in still am in the financial services industry. Started, investments, insurance, and kind of like what you do to get people's lives on track. I was doing the same thing on the financial side of things to make sure that, building a foundation and building a house and making sure that if something does happen to somebody, it's not that bad of a thing for the rest of the people of the family.
Yes. And the day we met and sat and talked, did you have an idea of what you wanted? Like what was happening in your life? Where were you at that you would even entertain the conversation?
I really wasn't sure where I was at. I was just kind of going with the flow, going along with things. Really didn't have much direction. Just kind of doing things day by day. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'll wake up in the morning and do the same thing I did yesterday, and just kind of keep on going like that. I think the biggest thing I didn't have was direction as to where I was going and what I wanted to do. I just kind of typical daily grind, and it's funny that we talk about that a lot. That the amount of people that you can ask, what do you want to do with your life? 95% of people don't have a clue because they just they're just too busy being busy.
Yes, interesting. How long do you think you'd been living like that when we met?
Oh, gee, I don't want to give away how old I am now, but I would say if we met 6 years ago, I would say it would be probably up until 6 years ago. From the time I was born. Yeah, so 49 years. I'll spill the beans. Yeah, so about 49 years. well, the first 6 or 7 years, really, that's my parents to take care of that. So.
Yeah, we can hand that over to them.
So it had been a while.
Yeah. So on that day we met and we started talking. Is that the first time that you actually started thinking about what? If you could put your hands in the clay, so to speak, and shape your own life, is that the first time you started thinking about what that might look like?
Oh, definitely. What really was, I never really had, like I said, you'd think, oh, I'd like to have a cottage, so you buy a cottage, or I'd like to have this, so you buy this, but it's always it's like we talk about the marshmallow test. It's instant gratification of things. It's like you don't think, I'd like to have a cottage, but what do I want? And then you just kind of. A totally different way of thinking of what we did. It put me down the pathway that I'll never revert back to.
Yes, and that's what I guess where I wanted to go today, because really for you were just trotting along quite happily. I interrupted that somewhat, and we sat there that day. I know, right? And it occurred to me because it wasn't a low-priced exercise to work with me. And I remember thinking to myself, this man is all about finance. And he was, that you were balking at spending that sort of money on yourself. But I knew you were a giving person and that you would probably spend that on somebody else if they really wanted or needed. What went through your mind? Like there you were trotting along pretty happily in your life. Why did you make the jump? What was going on inside you? Because it wasn't a small okay, I'll do that and I won't notice.
Well, I think it all started, it definitely wasn't it was are you freaking nuts? Yeah, that's ingrained in our memories forever. But you just said, it's like you would spend it on somebody else but not spend it on yourself. And that's a lot of things that we see in life with a lot of people, it's something I've talked to a lot of people about since you and I started talking too on the money side of things, that a lot of times we have shame about money. And the shame of the money comes from a generation above you, your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents saying, well, somebody's got a lot of money, they must have cheated somebody to get that.
Yes.
And then so you don't want to spend it up to yourself. You want to kind of keep it so nobody really knows that you've got all this money. And then you realize, well, geez, that's not really the way to think about it. And I think you and I have talked about this before too. And I think it might be in part of what we've learned is that when it comes to why something is the way it is, ask the generation above you why. And they'll usually say, well, it's because of them. And then they'll say it's because of them. And it's like, well, why? It's just, and it's funny because I did that with my mother about profanity. I said, why is it that the F word is such a bad word? He says, well, because my parents said it was a bad word. I said, well, why did they say it was a bad word? He said, well, because it's something that's used by people who are uneducated. Okay. And then you get to the bottom of it. Well, there you go. So if you use that word, you must be uneducated. So it's changing the way that we think about different things like that.
And so would you say that when I said to you how much it was, well, for a start, you were eager to work with me, but you thought the money was a bit obscene.
Obscene, yes.
Obscene, right? and at that point, I wanted to leave as well because I thought I didn't, I'm not a hard-nosed salesperson. And I thought, well, this is uncomfortable for me and for you. However, there was a greater purpose to it, which, and we will reveal obviously more of that, but you obviously had the money or thought that the money could come in. And so you did say yes in the end. How did that feel?
At first, I think it was almost a relief.
Interesting.
Like I don't want to say I was nervous about it. I was relieved when I finally said, oh yes, let's just do it. There's the anticipation of getting started on the program. Yeah. I think was the big thing. It's like, okay. And then, you go and you do the Google searches about this and about that. And then looking back on it now, you realize, a lot of people that say that they didn't think it was great are ones that didn't put the work in.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't just watch a video and say, okay, my life's going to change. Okay, I'm good. Okay, how come you're not changing? There still needs to be some work. And we even talk about it. It's like yoga. It's the practice of yoga because it's not something that it's a never-ending practice. And this is the same thing. It's never-ending, and we keep learning. I can go through some of the books that we first started reading, and I'll tell you, even though the books haven't changed, how I'm going to read it is going to have changed because I've changed.
Absolutely.
And the way I see things, and I think that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I guess that's what I want to, well, a question before we go there, the things that you started to realize that you wanted as we spoke that day, can you recall what some of them were? Like you said, your eyes sort of start to become open for the first time and you start to entertain ideas. Can you recall what some of those were?
Well, one thing that I'll never forget, and we were on one of the original Zoom calls, and I think it was you that came up with, we need to come up with different songs for each other. And mine that came up was Bon Jovi's "It's My Life."
Yeah.
And realizing that we can still do things for others, but remember to do things for us, as in me. And even as I'm writing notes while we're doing things nowadays, I'll still catch myself because I'll say we, and it's just, no, me and I. It has to be in first person because I'm writing these notes for myself, and then I'm also writing them so that when my children look through these notes after I'm gone, they'll say I, and hopefully they'll look at it the same way, I, as in them. I think it was realizing that we can dream and daydream about something that we want for ourselves and have no limitations on what we want.
Yeah.
And it's the whole thing that we always talk about, that it's not the destination, it's the journey.
Yeah.
That makes everything. So it's great that I've got, and things change. COVID definitely changed I had originally wanted to be in Portugal. And it's like, I spent so much time in Canada for 6 months with COVID, and I realized, wow, this is a beautiful country. Why would I want to go to another country? So, things change as to where I want to go. But as descriptive as we got to get with it, it's like just letting your mind flow and just imagining things was the amazing part of it.
Did you ever stop to think or consider why you hadn't done more of that? Did you ever think, why have I lived for 49 years and not done this? not entertained?
No, not really, because I think the main thing, one of the things we learned is don't look back on yesterday. It's because it's gone. So I don't. It's the same sort of. It's like the rest of your today starts the rest of your life, or whatever. Some of these things that you hear about, and that it's like so. And even with the meditations I'm doing every morning with Joe, it's yesterday's gone. Don't worry about yesterday. So don't think about why why didn't I do this 10 years ago? I think the key is that I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
And that's really what matters.
Yeah. And so the contrast as to what changed for you, I've got a question written here that I love to ask everybody. What was the major shift for you? Because like you said, it's not about you did the course. I've had people who did the course, ticked it off their list and moved on. And like you said, nothing really changed. It's like reading a book. I've read the book, but nothing's changed. Yeah. So what changed majorly for you? It might be one small thing, or it might be a large thing or an ongoing thing. But I guess for those of you listening to this who might be entertaining what you might call self-development, we certainly fit into that bracket. Why would a man who really was living a pretty good life, why would you do it? What really changed?
Well, I'll go back to a song. It can only get better. Why stay where you are? Sure, anybody can stay where they are and be happy with it, but it can get better, and you can make it better, and why not try it? It's not really. I don't want to say it's not. You're not giving up on anything to do what we're doing. You're growing more, but you're finessing what you're doing. Like my father was a chartered accountant, and he always says that it doesn't cost to use their services because they'll save you enough money so that the money that you save pays what they're doing for you, plus you get a little bit extra back, and you don't have the headache of dealing with the government. And this is the same sort of thing, is that it doesn't cost to do it, it's because we see it. It comes back to us in spades if we do the work. And even if you don't do all the work, that what you learn from working with you in particular is that you can do the same thing, but all you have to do is make a slight 5-degree change. And that one thing that you're doing can all of a sudden change everything. Yes.
I remember that analogy I use a lot. If there was a straight line between Adelaide and Melbourne here in Australia, and we set our steering wheel of our car along that straight line, we would hit Melbourne, forgetting about all the things that would be in the way if it was a straight line. But then if we just adjusted it just the slightest amount and made the straight line from that trajectory, we wouldn't hit Melbourne.
Right.
So like what you're saying is there wasn't major change in your life, but it really changed everything in the way you started thinking differently.
And that's what it is. It's the way that you're thinking about things, the way that you're seeing things. So, you can walk down the street and everybody's got a different perception as to what color the grass is down. I'm just looking out the window, like what color the grass is. But it's green. But some might have different types of green, just the way that they're thinking. But it's just that slight little change. And like I said, the little 2-degree difference in the from the straight line going from Adelaide to Melbourne, it can you can end up in Thailand.
In a completely different place. And you'll have a completely different journey along the way. A lot of people, and I was one of them when I started this work, and as you know, Mr. Bob Proctor was my mentor. He was not he wasn't a pushover, right, that man. And I remember saying to him one day, and this makes me cringe as I share it, okay, well, I've got all the information now. Why can't I just go off and do this on my own? And of course, I got quite the lesson from him in reply. One of his things that he used to say was, it's like trying to string yourself up with your own bootstraps. And I had to sit for a minute and being who I am, I thought, I'm sure there's a way I could do that. But he's quite right. It's pretty difficult. And he said to me, in the 60 years that he'd been coaching people, he said, I've never seen anybody do it on their own, because we are the program and it's very difficult to get out of your own way. What would you say about your journey, if looking back and knowing what you know now, and the things, which I'll get to in a minute, the things that you really enjoyed in your life as a result of the awareness that you have. Do you think that you could have done it on your own?
Oh, no. It's interesting. As soon as you said picking yourself up by the bootstraps, I still remember somebody when I was a kid saying, it's one of the neighbors, an older boys, like, well, Trevor, if you put your feet into this bucket, you can lift the bucket and you lift yourself up off the ground. But we know you can't. But when you're 7 years old and high school kids are playing with you, teasing with you, yeah, you try to, and it's exactly that.
Yeah.
Thinking you can do this on your own is the same as trying to put your feet into a bucket and lifting the bucket off the ground. If you've got 3 other people there with you, they can lift the bucket off the ground when you're in it. Yes. And it's the assistance that you have, the direction that you have to do it that really helps.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the quandary for a lot of people, and it was for me, because I didn't have a lot of money when I started this work. I was a bit like you when Bob, well, it wasn't Bob, it was one of his salespeople who said to me, this is how much it will cost. And I remember saying to the man, no, I just want the course, not the car as well. Like, just the course. It was so much money. And I couldn't fathom how, if I'm the one doing the work, what am I paying for here? And I guess I'd love to hear from you, because on my side of the fence, I know what I do with people. How is it working with a coach such as myself? What does that do for you? What did that do as you started along? And you're still in our community, which is, we love having you. And why do you stay? What is it that?
Well, I feel like the court jester sometimes when I come onto the calls, so it makes me feel better too. Geez, just as you were talking, there's something that kind of came to my mind about the help. Well, in 1988, a friend of mine and I, we both pooled money together and bought Tony, was that big, tall?
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. We bought Tony Robbins audio cassettes. And they ended up, and it stayed in the box. I think I might have listened to the tapes once. So you bought this at the time there's $189 or something like that. There's 15 audio tapes, but I didn't have somebody there directing me.
Yes.
You have somebody that is there. I don't want to say directing you, but you're there helping us. You're there walking with us, and you're there making sure that we're studying what we need to be studying and staying in line with everything. And there's also always a lot more than just what's written down on the on the pages. And we're lucky enough to be able to see that.
Yeah.
And that's working with somebody instead of just buying the course.
Yes. We have rich conversations, don't we, in the group, and also one-to-one, which is really, I think, I really enjoy that as a coach, speaking with people one-to-one, because I think it's those small little nuggets that happen in those conversations that are the change in our trajectory. So it helps them land. What would you say? Well, a couple of, you can either say, what would you say to your younger self, knowing what you know now, or what would you say to somebody out there who perhaps is younger or just, doing life? What would you say to them from what you've learned about yourself? A word of encouragement, a word of direction, wisdom?
Well, I would say it's one of the same things I talk about when it comes to, well, even as something as simple as buying life insurance. The best time to start is yesterday, but the second best time to start is today. And yet, don't hold back. Like there's no age limit. You can be 18 years old and start doing this. You can be 75 and start doing this. I think this is something that if the opportunity exists to not say no.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say don't think twice about it, because if you think twice about it, the third time you think about it, you're going to do it. And sure, and one of the first lessons we learned was there's the terror barrier. And it's just, you need to be afraid when you start to do something, because that just makes it that much more important.
Yeah, it indicates there's change afoot, doesn't it?
Right.
When there's change, we get a little excited, which can feel like fear. And I guess I want to mention and talk for a little moment if you will, about the community, because when you and I started working together, that was all I offered was, quite a high priced. We worked for, was it 6 months or a year? I can't recall the term that you paid for. However, we have a membership now, which is the lifestyle, the Thrive Lifestyle Community, TLC, we call it, which is what everybody needs, is a little bit of TLC. You're in that community. And it's $250 a month Australian, which is, $60 a week. It's really not going to make you fall off your chair when I tell people what that price is. But what do you gain from it? Like, we obviously have the morning practice, we have the weekly calls and the one-to-ones with me. What would you say? Why do you stay in the community?
Redirection, I think, is a big one. You made the comment about driving the straight line from Adelaide to Melbourne, and sometimes you can go off a little bit. What this does is it gets you back into the alignment so that you will end up to where you want to go.
Yeah.
I find that and it's not hard to stray off a little bit or to stop and say, oh, geez, I'm not going to do this today because I'm okay today. But it's something that, and it's the community. It's everybody else that's there as well. Is because you become invested in what they're doing and how they're doing. Like it's funny with one of them in the community. Every time I see a cow, all I can think about is, I know who would be really happy about that. and I remind them about it all the time. I'll tag them on Facebook and such too.
Yeah.
Or learning what a caravan is. And how excited somebody was when they got a caravan. Like we become invested in each other's lives just from that. Yes. So it's when you call it a community, it's just so true. That's exactly what it is. It's a community, and it's beautiful.
Yes, we're still trying to get you over for one of our social events or a retreat.
Oh yeah. It's fun. I've got a friend in Thailand, and we keep on saying I'm going to go there and then go down to Australia for a bit, and come back to Thailand, and then come back to Canada. So it's
absolutely.
It will be there. Oh yeah.
Yes. Well, I am very appreciative of you just sharing your journey, because I guess the reason I wanted to talk with you, Trevor, is there's a lot of people out there whose lives aren't bad, but there is so much more upside for them. And I guess that's what I see in you, and what's changed for you. Your business has grown, your relationships are amazing. So I just have enjoyed watching you blossom, if I can say that to a man.
Sure, I guess.
You'll take that. So any final comments before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I think the thing is don't be afraid to try it. It's definitely something that has done a lot for me. It opened up my mind to some of the things that I've done in my business, and I think a lot of things it's like one of the first things we learn about is it's not a bad thing to daydream, and to when you start to daydream, start thinking about different things you want to do. I would say 75% of what I'm doing right now in my business and the what's being generated from what I'm doing right now, I probably never would have fathomed 5 years ago. I never would have thought of 5 years ago. But it's being open to different things and realizing that you don't need to push to get something. You can just kind of pull and things just kind of come your way. And then how quickly the universe works. Hey, it's not going to wait for you. Make the decision. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, next. I'm actually going to be presenting at an advocates meeting. It's the National Financial Advisors Association, but one of the local chapters on Tuesday, and that's not one of the main things. That's one of the things I want to talk about is that life moves fast, but our job is to get somebody or to say no as quickly as possible so we can move on to the next and see what works.
Exactly.
And that's what we have to do.
Yeah, I love that. And I guess that's why we've designed TLC the way we have. People can come in for a month, $250. If you think, this isn't for me, that no hard feelings, great, you've popped in and on you go to the remainder of your journey, or you stay like yourself and enjoy. So thank you so much for chatting today.
Thanks for asking me. I totally enjoy it.
Yeah, let me just stop this so we can wind up.